task.
Bingo fuel. RTB at the time.
UAV ready for task.
Getting stitched up! Drop their server!
The fuck?
Too close!
What's up, vaqueros, and welcome back to the Shotgun Haven for Call of Duty players. In today's episode, we're going to be checking out Dragon's Breath on the Bryson 800. This is basically going to be overviewing it just for the Bryson 800 in particular, and not for any of the other shotguns. I'll go into those in separate videos. Let's go ahead and hop into Dragon's Breath on the Bryson 800. The first thing I want to mention is that it seems like Dragon's Breath has been nerfed since the start of Modern Warfare 2, and the reason I think that is because when I first started testing this back when it came out, there was a point where you could shoot someone, a burn would kick in, and then the enemy would die. They would actually die to the burn. Now it seems like dying to the burn is basically impossible. So that means you either get that one-shot kill immediately, or what happens is you shoot someone, they survive, the burn kicks in, and there's a few ticks of damage, but then they survive, so you have to shoot again. In all my testing, I could not replicate a burn. I could not get a burn kill with Dragon's Breath on the Bryson 800. I even went ahead and shot the bot account I was using twice in the stomach with a pistol, really weakened them, and then tried to shoot far away with a few pellets to see if I could get the burn to kill them, and no matter what, it just would not kill them. So since this was actually pretty common for you to get the burn kill at launch and you can't anymore, it seems to me like it's basically been nerfed. So just as a heads up, it's not as strong as it was, and it never was that strong to begin with, so that's kind of sad. But anyway, getting that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk some ranges and stuff like that, because that's also very important. So with Dragon's Breath, we do actually have a one-shot kill range where you can kill immediately. There is no one-shot burn range anymore. So what is the range for that? Well, let's take a look first at the base gun. The base Bryson 800 without Dragon's Breath has a one-shot kill of about 13.5 meters according to sim.gg, so shout out to them, of course, link in the description. With Dragon's Breath on, you basically lose about 50% of your range. So what that means is your one-shot kill range for the base Dragon's Breath version of the Bryson 800 is about 6.6 meters. It's actually like 51%, but basically 50%, and that is absolutely no joke. That is so much range reduction that it is painful to deal with. That is just so bad. Even the shorty barrel, the 8-inch barrel, still has a better one-shot kill range than that. And if you combine that with Dragon's Breath, I don't even want to think about it. But man, that is really, really atrocious. So you're basically losing 50% of your one-shot kill potential with Dragon's Breath. So that is a big, big oof. It gets even worse because when you stack on the big attachments like the big rifled barrel and the SA-MX50, which is actually how I recommend running this build, the base gun, the base ammo type basically, the one-shot kill range was about 18 meters with those attachments, but with Dragon's Breath, the most you can get out of it is about 9.2 meters. That's still like 4 meters short of the base gun's one-shot kill range with all these heavy, crazy attachments on. It's just ridiculous how much Dragon's Breath hurts your gun in this game when it comes to range. Wow, that is just jaw-dropping in my opinion. Now, Bomb Squad is a perk. It's basically EOD of this game where it reduces the fire damage. And since you don't really get any kills from the burn, it doesn't really make a huge difference because you still get the same one-shot kill range regardless of if Bomb Squad is equipped on the enemy or not. You're still going to get that 6.6 or rather that 9.2, that one-shot kill range. No matter what, they're still going to die instantly. The burn is going to deal slightly less damage, but it doesn't ever seem to kill them. I think it takes them down to like 1 health, and it's just never going to kill anybody. So in most practical situations, you're either going to get the one-shot kill or you're going to need 2 shots. So that's basically how it goes with Dragon's Breath on the Bryson 800. So what are some other perks to using Dragon's Breath? Because that big range reduction is really killing it for me, so maybe there's some other good things about it, right? It does seem like the bodies, when you kill them, they do really funny and wacky things. There's sort of that Ragdoll Effect, which is pretty hilarious, I will say. Like sometimes you'll shoot someone and their body just flies straight up in the air for like 3 feet. I don't really understand the physics behind it, but bodies will do some pretty wacky things with Dragon's Breath, so that is a fun perk, and it does help kind of spice up the game a little bit when it's getting a little bit too redundant, so that is kind of cool. In terms of the sort of objective benefits to using Dragon's Breath, that's kind of where the list ends. It's very, very short, and there's really not any good benefits at all to using them except maybe making bodies fly, but I will say that a subjective part of it was that to me, it felt like in the further ranges for Dragon's Breath in particular, hip firing seemed a lot more consistent, and this is something that was really hard to test. I don't have exact data and numbers to back it up really, so it's something that I want you to keep in mind that is just sort of a subjective thing for me. Now what I did was I went in and I tested, and I basically had my dummy account about 9 meters away, and I would basically hip fire center mass at them with both Dragon's Breath and the base ammo, and I noticed that Dragon's Breath, out of 10 shots, 7 of them actually one-shot kill, but for the base ammo only 3 of them did in the same exact spot. Now, this is hard to tell because, of course, there's just random deviation in pellets. I could have just gotten lucky. I tried it many times, and it seemed like Dragon's Breath every time was just a little bit more consistent. I would actually get the hip fire one-shot kill more surprisingly than with the base ammo. So I can't really prove this on paper. I can't really say it's an objective fact that it's better, but I do want to point out, I felt like it was a lot more consistent when it came to hip firing at longer ranges. So there's something to say for that. Maybe give it a try and try hip firing more with Dragon's Breath instead of just a normal buckshot, because with buckshot, man, I'm aiming down sights almost all the time. So keep that in mind and try it out and let me know what you think, because this is a subjective thing and I don't know if anyone else has felt it, but to me, it just feels like hip fire is more consistent at those longer ranges in particular. As for my thoughts on Dragon's Breath overall on the Bryson 800, I gotta say it's pretty rough. That 50% damage range reduction is just downright disgusting. It can absolutely kill this gun, but again, there is a subjective part of it where it did feel a lot better in my hands when I was hip firing it, so there's something to say for that. Maybe there's something I don't know about, but I don't know. I honestly think maybe I'm just getting lucky with the random pellet spread. So just, you know, don't quote me on that, but give it a try and let me know what you think when it comes to hip firing, because I kind of like it. Now, in terms of the best class, I do want to show it on screen. This is what I've been using. I don't actually use a laser on this one because I'm not really aiming down sights or anything. You can use that point G3P for the hip firing, but I prefer just using that grip that gives you a better fire rate and then stacking it with range attachments, because my God, you absolutely need it with Dragon's Breath, and it's still not even that good. 9 meters is not that great compared to the already base gun having like 13 meters. That's just kind of sad, but it is what it is. It's still fun to make bodies go flying, and people will get irrationally angry at Dragon's Breath, so I don't know, maybe give it a shot and just try cheesing people with it or something. I don't know, have fun with this. This is a great way, a very niche setup to kind of break the redundancy of multiplayer. And honestly, it's probably one of the worst iterations of Dragon's Breath we've had in Call of Duty history. I think Vanguard was also pretty bad, if I remember correctly. And so this is kind of where that is, where there's really not any true benefit to it. So if you want to try and break up the redundancy of the game, like I said, try out Dragon's Breath. Just kind of go in knowing you're at a severe disadvantage, but try and have fun with it. Really kit it out for range and just hit fire like crazy. So with that being said, guys, I want to know down below in the comments, what do you think about Dragon's Breath on this gun in particular, the Bryson 800? What do you think about hip fire on it? Am I crazy in thinking that it's actually better than the base ammo? And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next shotgun video.